Hello, my name is Christy Shoulders, and I'm in my 19th year of teaching at my alma mater, Worcester Township Elementary School in Worcester, Ohio. I do have a K to 12 art license and a 1 to 8 elementary ed from MVNU. I was told to obtain my kindergarten license if I wanted to keep my job, so here I am. This is my second online class of 15 semester hours. So for this assignment, my understanding of balanced literacy framework is that the visual is useful in conceptualizing the curriculum for teaching literacy. The components within the framework are not separate elements, but are linked together in two ways. One, the oral language, and two, content. So the bottom line is that no matter what the literacy framework looks like, the key to effective literacy practices begins with the educator, who empowers the students to learn the foundation of literacy skills. Now this may all sound obvious, but choosing the best practices can be challenging in the 21st century. Oral language is the foundation of the primary curriculum. This foundation for oral language is so crucial and vital that it continues to be a point of emphasis for students all the way into the job market. I was recently interviewed by the company Envision. It's an experiential education organization, and found this information on a video titled "The Power of Use STEM." I would like to share this polarizing fact. Based on the research from the Center of Education and the Workforce, Georgetown University, this chart shows the precise skills needed to compete in the 21st century global market. The most highly valued abilities, meaning high wage, high growth, and high demand occupations, are oral comprehension, followed by oral expression, and then written comprehension. And you could, just for informative purposes, they have problem sensitivity, deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning, near vision, speech clarity, info ordering, and idea generation. Now, this fact reinforces how important oral language is from the early stages of literacy all the way to the adult stages of the job market. According to this data, the language art skills set should be the prime focus from early childhood literacy to that very first interview. In regards to the balanced literacy framework, there are 8 major clusters of activity making connections between oral and written language. 4 kinds of reading: reading aloud, shared reading, guided reading, independent reading. And 4 kinds of writing: shared writing, interactive writing, guided writing, and independent writing. Each element requires a different level of support from the teacher and a level of control from the student. But ultimately, the quality and effectiveness of the interactions between the teacher and the children, and between the children, within the framework are most important. It's not the elements themselves, but the teaching decisions within them that lead to new learning. Comparing this framework to whole language, I can see very little difference. According to Routman, components of a whole language program include reading aloud, writing aloud, shared reading, shared writing, guided writing, independent reading, and independent writing. The balanced writing and reading programs are never mind. In whole language classrooms, reading and writing topics are relevant to students' lives, school curriculum, and interests. Conferencing, responding, revising, and demonstrating and encouraging are ongoing with students and their reading-writing process. In essence, it is the degree of teacher intervention, support, and their reading-writing process and choice that determines type of approach being employed. We need to begin reading and writing with lots of teacher demonstrating and scaffolding. Gradually, students will take ownership and responsibility for their learning process as teachers guide students toward interdependence. Since I am in the Title I remediation field, I compared the Balanced eLiteracy Framework to a literacy lesson framework developed by Susan Tancock for struggling readers that is rooted in literature-based reading instruction. Her students can be characterized by 5 areas of difficulty: labored sounding out of unknown words, a perception that reading is mainly accurate word recognition, not meaning making, lack of fluency, minimal self-correcting or self-monitoring, and a few writing strategies. Her 5-step framework is: number 1, reading of familiar material; 2, guided reading of authentic literature; 3, writing; 4, word sorting; and 5, book sharing. Teaching in this domain of at-risk students, my students need to spend more time on word work activities. However, there's a reality check. Due to time constraints and the pressures of standardized test performances, I often have to reduce my word activities and focus on comprehension strategies. The Olentangy Balanced Literacy Framework presents literacy scaffolding beginning with demonstrated and shared lessons, guided practice to independent practice. Their 4 quadrants are reading, oral language, word study, and writing. I agree that the use of mini lessons throughout the entire framework are needed to remediate as well as enrich students of all learning ranges. So for this class, I hope to learn more about theory on how students develop their literacy skills. I hope to compare research-based practices to my daily lessons to see if I even come close to applying those most effective practices with students. I'm torn between teaching to the test and teaching reading skills. They are 2 different skill sets. I think the answer is that I need to teach both skill sets, but as a public school teacher, Ohio mandates have a tight grip on what we teach, not necessarily how we teach, as long as we make those benchmarks. Thank you.